The plan we have for this ongoing, probably we're going to try to put in sequence, right? Maybe teach them like a real African history, breaking down per region like we were taught back home, right, in Africa. So, but today this is a Black History Month. Because the Black History Month, you will see what you have seen before. So I'm just going to go through the history of Africa briefly, and then focus today on West Africa. Then next time we can focus on different area of Africa. You know, you got like a 5 different region, and the diaspora being the 6th region. But you got West Africa, North, Central, East, you know, so South. Today we'll talk about the West, so narrow down. You know, brief history of Africa, region of Africa, culture, tradition, the wildlife, economy, modern Africa, right? So today, this is how Africa is. So if I ask you, how big is Africa? Do you think New York City is bigger than Africa?
No.
Okay, what about if you put New York City, Newark, Washington, D.C., you put all them together, are they bigger than Africa?
No. Africa's a continent.
Okay, good. So Africa is a continent. So Africa is bigger than the United States of America, China, Europe, all of them combined. Africa is still bigger than all of them. So that's how big Africa is, right? Now, this is the region of Africa. You got North, West, Central, East, South. And then the diaspora. Diaspora, this is all those that came here through slavery, our ancestors, and the Caribbean. Those are considered diaspora, right? And then those are continental African who also come here. So now, today we'll focus on West Africa, this side, right? 16 countries. I'm from West Africa. I'm from Ivory Coast. It's right here. It's my country, Ivory Coast, West Africa, right? So that's what we'll be focused on today. So now let's talk about a little bit about the history of West Africa. As you see, like I said, the next come forward, I would have to probably draw a schedule with Sharon so we can have these kingdoms of West Africa, because West Africa is much known by the kingdom, you know, the Ghana Empire, then it came the Mali Empire, it came the Songhai Empire. Very interesting, you know, you want to know about Sunjata Keita, the warrior of the Madengo tribes, you want to know about Sumanguru Kante, you want to also know about Masakanko Musa, who was the richest man on earth. All that will break him down as we go, probably next lesson. It will be most like a lesson, right? 30-minute lessons about the African kingdoms, right? So, see, this is those are kingdoms from here, from the 11th century, 14 and 15. All these used to be kingdoms back in the day, right? You're in the West, you're in the South. I know some of you remember about Shaka Zulu, the Zulu tribe. All this is down the south, right? And then we will break those down. And now, some of you guys already spoke about slavery, right? Slavery, that's one of the, I mean, actually the worst thing that ever happened to black people as a whole is slavery, right? So slavery, you already spoke about it. So basically, some of our ancestors from Africa were taken and by force and shipped like a product to America and the Caribbean and Europe. So that's why every black person you see in America, most of the black people, the Caribbean, everybody originated from Africa, right? All of us. Years ago, from the 1700s until now, almost like a 300, 500 years ago. So you see, so African really used to be taken from Africa. You see, all these are coastal area where you can have a slave port. So basically, they used to take the slaves all the way through this coast because it's a deep Atlantic Sea, right? And then ship it here. Brazil. Actually, the biggest black population after Africa is in Brazil, right? There's more black in Brazil than the United States. Did you know that? No. Okay. Now, this is called Elmina Castle. This is in Ghana, right? If you go to Senegal, there's an island called Gorée Island. They have the same building, identical building. Basically, that's where they used to take all the slaves, and this used to be a port where all the slaves used to gather. They put them there, and then before they ship them. So you see those rooms right here? That's why they used to put folks. Who's this guy right here? Who this guy?
You.
All right. So I was in Senegal 3 weeks ago, right? 3 weeks ago I was in Senegal, so I went there. I went to the same area where our ancestors were. The same room, smelled the same way, and it's just, I mean, they could put 500 to thousands of people in that small little room. And mind you, some people before it used to be bigger than me, taller than me, right? But they used to put all of these folks out there. Sometimes young kids, 7-year-old kid, they have their own room. They got young girls, they have their own cells. They have adult cells. I mean, horrible, horrible, horrible. So you see right here, this in French, they say cellules des récalcitrants, which means cells of troublemakers. I know if I probably was born then, I would be among those folks right here, the troublemakers, because see, look at me right here. That's a cell of a troublemaker. Anybody that makes trouble, they just put them in that hole. They could put hundreds of people there, and some of them survive, some die. When you die, they just put you in the water and feed you to sharks. Right? They feed you to sharks. So this is the hole. That's where, same exact way, our ancestors used to be here before they were shipped to Americas. All of us here, most of the black people, everybody, most of our ancestors, they came from here or through Ghana. Senegal or Ghana, these are the two places where you're going to be shipped out. And sometimes also in Sierra Leone, Bonds Island. So I was there, working around, trying to get my spiritual connection because preparing for the Black History Month. So remind myself that, I'm very much grateful. Not only not to be born that time, but to everything I have. Because those folks that came through here paved the way for all of us. And that's why they used to come. Yeah, to fill the boats. And sometimes when the boat's heavy, they just push people in the water. So sharks used to come in the island all the time, just looking for victims and just feeding on the people. So we got a very dark history, but we have to rise from it, learn from it. That's why all of you guys have to do good in school. You need to have a good grade. There's no reason why to have a bad grade. Because, lift your heads up. Our history is very amazing. So these are West African countries. Next time, this is my country, Côte d'Ivoire. Didi, she's from Senegal, right? That's right here. So the Gorée Island is located in Senegal. So basically, slavery, all these folks that used to be caught from here, some of them come to Ghana, in the Elmina Castle, the slave, dungeon over here, or Liberia, Bonds Island, or Senegal, Gorée. And then because this is deep sea, so they put the boat and you're gone. And when you go, it's gone. You never come back again. That's why we used to call the door of no return, one-way street. So, but Africans are good people, like all you guys are. So we see good people. Those that left the continent of Africa, left also family there. It's not like, okay, slavery happened, everybody left Africa, they came here, they went to the Caribbean, so therefore, that's it. So you may not know your folks out there in Africa, but every black person or Caribbean has a root in Africa. Let's say you go to a family and you get caught, and you get shipped in a boat, but you still got uncle, sister, brother, or somebody that stayed there. So we are connected, right? So we are connected. So West Africa tradition. Basically, tradition is very much in West Africa, as you know, they love to dance, beautiful food, they love culture, they love art. So that's the West Africa, right? But if you wanted to see West Africa in a village, mostly you can even find those villages in East Africa too, even in South Africa. But this is a typical African village, right? It's very organic. As you see, it's very natural, green. I love the village. I just came from Africa. I go to Africa every 6 months. I just came from Africa, and then I really love the village. I don't like too much the big cities because it's like if I was already here. So you go to the village, it's more organic, less noise, you eat natural food, everything you eat is natural. They don't eat leftover. I will put things in the freezer for a long time. They don't have that time because they don't even need the refrigerator, right? Because everything coming from earth, everything is fresh and organic. So when I go there and come back, those are men, look younger. I say, yeah, I just came from home, right? This is the king. African king, all these things you see the gold. There's a gold, right? So maybe some of you graduate to become a king, I don't know, but you can. Because I have my mentor, Balozi Harvey, peace upon him, he passed. He's African American, but he was a king in Africa. Real king, not like a joke. Village and things, so he did it. So some of you can do too, or become queen. That's a normal kingdom. If you go to the kingdom, that's why the king will be. Right, he's sitting, everybody else saw him, everything you see is gold. All these are real gold. Okay? Alright, so now I know you heard about griot historian, right? Griot. The griot actually historian. You know the African tradition, especially when we come back next week and start to talk about the African kingdom, and you're talking about the Ghana Empire, especially the Mali Empire, the Mali kingdom, you have the griot. The griot actually those votes that determine the history, right? The griot is actually through family line, right? I'm not from a family line from a griot, but if I was from a griot family line, I would know the whole history of Africa because my father will pass on me, I pass on to my kid, they pass on to their kid, and they pass on to their kid for generation to generation to generation. That's why it is. So a griot mostly used to be next to the kings. So they have to advise the king and tell him the story, and the history of the land, how to behave, what to do, where to go. So they're a historian, and we still have a griot now. So what he have this instrument is called a kora. It's beautiful. Maybe one day we'll bring a kora singer here and play that nice. The kora is beautiful. All the guitar they play right now, all the copy from the kora, right? So beautiful, beautiful music from the kora. See, this is a griot. He's teaching the kid how to play kora. So when you pass it, he's going to be the next griot on the line. Passing on the story. So, and then now you got modern griot. Some of them are artists, musicians. They actually travel, come here, they sing, everybody pay money, they dress nice, with gold, they sing history, they praise you. Now we do, as you know, Africa is more about storytelling, right? Because you learn so much about a story, and every story has a moral value to it, right? They tell the story, say, okay, well, you should not steal, you should respect your elders, you should behave well, you should be somebody. Honestly, my personal life got more impacted through story my grandmother was telling me than the school. See, the school is something you go, you learn math and mathematics and science and all that. But the real knowledge of yourself, that's home. So they teach you about your ancestors. You know, they were brave people, right? They fought European, right? There was people that resisted. And they show you symbols. So you growing up, so it's in your head, like, I want to be like them. I want to resemble my great-great-great-grandfather, or great-great-great-grandmother, you see? So storytelling is good. Maybe next time probably can tell some stories, for you to learn from. In the village we dance. It's always like every weekend you got some show going on. I got couple, dances when I was there. It's on YouTube. I can share with you guys. So now, sometimes we have those ceremonies with the young kids. Some of you can have a show like this, right? You're all Africans. That's with the young people enjoying. You can hear she have this real culture. She's like into it, right? This is Ghanaian, right? That's a Ghanaian traditional dance. As you can see, she's very much serious. Yeah, so she's gonna grow up. Doesn't matter if she become president, but she still know how to move, how those culture things are very important. Like you see, the village, so more organic. Now the African food, some of you can try some of this in an African restaurant, right? This is like fried rice, African way fried rice. Maybe one day I'll bring some, bring some African food the next time. So can you have jollof rice, and you have chepjen. Chepjen, that's a Senegalese typical dish. I mean, it's so tasty. Oh God.
I heard you make great peanut soup.
Yeah, peanut soup. That's my specialty. Actually, I won a trophy for peanut men will cook competition.
Yeah.
It was organized by Youth Outcry. It was like last year. So I was a winner of a trophy. Peanut soup. That's like if I make a peanut soup, you're gonna forget about your name. Yeah, you definitely forget your name. It's crazy. Right. So now you have this type of food. Remember on my birthday, I said I wanted to have a pounded yam and an okra soup. That's what I get. This is a pounded yam and an okra soup. This is called like chicken poisson. African love fish, love fish. And this is a pounded plantain, right? That's a plantain pounded. You see this so much rich, love fish, and that's a palm wine. As you see, palm wine, it's the healthiest. Palm oil, I would say, palm oil. Palm oil is the healthiest oil out of all. You can check in the Google. They just did a scientific research on the palm oil. The palm oil is like the best medicine for almost everything. But you know, we didn't know when you're growing up eating those things, you don't give a value to it. Now everything that we didn't appreciate, now we appreciate those things now. Go to the pharmacy, moringa trees, or sour soap. You're eating sour soap all the time in the village. You know, it just grow by itself. All these things grow organically. So really, life is amazing. Now you start to really appreciate all this nature that God has offered to the land that He didn't give value. Now you go to a store, you see moringa, costs a lot of money. Oh, moringa leaves is good for cancer, for this and that. But this is everywhere, right? Sour soap is everywhere. So, you know, those are African food, but you can find some of those here, right, in African restaurant. But the taste is good, but if you go to the land, it's different taste, because that, you know, it's now, they don't put those in the freezers for a long time. So, you know, so this is agriculture. Now, cocoa, right? The chocolate you eat, this is what chocolate is made out of. It's called cacao. This is processed to become the chocolate. And Ivory Coast, my country, is the #1 world exporter of this, and Ghana comes second. So Ghana, Ivory Coast, Togo, altogether 70% of the world, you know, consumption of chocolate. Cocoa is coming from Africa. So if Africa don't produce this, all the Valentine days are over, right? So people are gonna be mad. See, she say, "Oh God." So there's no more Valentine Day. So basically, every time you eat chocolate, if you're grateful, you say, "Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa." Because, I mean, this thing don't grow in America. It doesn't grow in Europe.
Yeah, wheat grows in jungles.
So it doesn't grow in America, it doesn't grow in Europe, but you eat more chocolate than anybody. You know, people in Europe, in Switzerland, they call themselves the god of chocolate. I'm like, how come you're a god of chocolate? The cocoa don't even grow in your land. So funny, right? Just give credit to Africa once. Don't be too ungrateful, like with the world of a chocolate. You don't even have a cocoa. Doesn't even grow there. Who is this right here? That's me. My farm. So you see, maybe the chocolate you ate 2 days ago, it was coming from here. You know, say thank you, Dosso. At least I was working. You know, I had to go there and do some work because I know Valentine's Day was coming, and I know it would be a lot of hard times when people didn't have no chocolate. Make sure all these stores got chocolate. So I just volunteered. You know, I went home and I just said, "Listen, let me do some more extra work so folks can at least, you know, be in law. Otherwise, people are gonna be broken up left and right and blame on us. But we just try to do the best we can." You know, and Switzerland's like, "Oh, we're the best in chocolate." I said, "No, Switzerland, it was a Dosso. That's my farm. That was not you." Right? So, now you see these folks, I put, you know, I don't want to be in trouble. So I put a blindfolded their eyes so I don't want to recognize who that is because I didn't have that permission for that photo. But again, these are folks that are multinationals from different countries, European country, America. They go to African villages trying to secure this. So that's the fruit you see. That's why you dry the seed. We ferment the seed, dry, and then it's shipped out. Right? See, then it's shipped out.
Whoa.
So that's why so the chocolate you eat, you go beautiful chocolate and don't get fooled. It's coming from Africa. Then they turn around, they say, "Oh, Africa is bad. Everybody got to look at it as bad." CNN, all they see, it's like, oh, okay, starving kids, disease, war. Don't be fooled. Look at this guy. They're going to Africa. It's a disease, but they're going to Africa. They don't want you to go because they want to control the whole chocolate for themselves. Right? Look at all this beautiful chocolate. Put all this design. That's Africa. Because Africa, you can have all this.
Oh, that looks so
right?
good.
This coffee. You drink coffee, right? Some of you drink coffee?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, say thank you to Africa. You love coffee? Look at this. You love Starbucks? You love Starbucks coffee, right? All right, okay, Starbucks got beautiful coffee. Oh, Sidama, this is brand. Come on, give me a break. Say thank you to Ethiopia, right? That's the best coffee Ethiopia. See, even organic Ethiopian coffee. And let me tell you the story of a coffee. Coffee originated from Africa in Ethiopia, in Sidama. It's the mountains out there, coffee grew by itself. It was in the wild. It's only the Arabs discovered the coffee. They took the seed of coffee because it's a little bit stimulant, you know, it's bitter. People drink coffee because it gets you some energy, right? So Ethiopians used to just eat the seed, the red seed, almost like a type of stimulant, right? Now Arab took it to Asia, you know, and then from there, now travel back to Europe. Now everybody's acting like, okay, they're the one that knew coffee before everybody. No. Africans control this thing, right? So say thank you to Africa also, drinking coffee. Now, you have your car tires, beautiful cars, everybody do, oh, that have a Firestone tire, my tire is great, but do you know what tire is made out of?
Rubber.
Okay, rubber. Do you know where rubber comes from?
Africa. I forgot. It's from a tree.
Yeah, it's from a tree, right? This is a tree. They call it Evea in French, right? Or rubber tree, right? So resources, and then everybody walk around, beautiful tires, don't even know where it came from. But how many rubber plantation you have in the United States for you to be having all these beautiful tires? Well, okay, say thank you to Liberia, Firestone. So I put their name on purpose because everything's online. So everything I'm saying is like a website. You can see their plantation, how big it is, and over there. Now, diamond. So, I mean, I got a diamond before for myself. You can get one for yourself too, but you got to work hard for it. If you want to go to Africa in the village, you want to go volunteer, maybe give yourself 3 weeks, go. Like, if you're lucky, then you can have a stone. I had a stone before, but my uncle took it from me. I was too little, but you know.
Tell us about that.
You know, right? Yeah, that's like this is like a traditional way of harvesting, you know, diamond. But you know, make a pit. It's like a gold too. Same way, you know. Gotta dig a big pit. You take the dirt and you wash it. You wash it, and then if you're lucky, you find a stone. If you're not lucky, you do it again, right? But industry, they have like a machine. They just go and pick it, and then they got tramwell. They washed it. They get all that. So all these big companies, you see in the store, multinational corporation, they got beautiful diamonds. So you know, some of these diamonds, most of them come from Africa. Right? So maybe your next wedding, the diamond ring you get for your girl, or you get for your husband, you know, you say thank you to Africa too, you know. But me, if you want, you can go get your own diamonds. If you don't want to process it, you can do that too. You can go to a village. I'll tell you where to go. You can either go Liberia, or go South Africa, Botswana, or Ivory Coast. You know, who tell you where to go if you're strong enough? You know, you dig your own stone, so you don't have to worry about nobody, you know, selling it to you, right? So, you know, the coltan, for example, right? What do you know about the coltan, right? Coltan, it's a mineral, you know, that's utilized in order for any electronic device to work. Most of electronic devices to work, actually. You know, without the coltan, there's no cell phone. It will not work, right? So basically, every day you're at a computer talking on a cell phone, you need to say, thank you, Africa. Because if Africa don't produce a coltan, this thing right here, you're going to buy your cell phone $5,000 a piece, right? So the coltan, you see all this rectangular shape. So basically, the scientific name is Columbine titanic. Is utilized as a capacitor, heat resistant, right? So Africa, Congo alone, close to 80% of the world cocoa. That's a coltan. That's a Congo alone. Not mentioning all the African countries, because every African country got something. Right. So now the gold. You know, some people got so much gold that, you know, when you go in the village, almost women love more gold than men, right? Men just want to sell it, right? Women, they like to get jewelry. Sometimes you see with African, you know, shows, everybody, all the women wearing necklaces, jewelries and all that, right? So it's, you know, women use, almost every woman in the villages, especially in the Mali, you know, West African, you know, Madengo tradition, almost everybody have gold. You know, my mother got a lot of gold too. This guy, he doesn't want to wear a necklace, but he just have, you know, eyeglasses. He made his own eyeglasses out of gold, right? But that's a lot of work now, because so many people try to dig now. It's a lot of work, right? And now the beautiful wildlife. You know, you got a great white. Me, I don't like too much water, man. So the African Sea, I'm staying away from it sometimes. I just stay around. I'm one of those guys. I get kind of like, you know, waiting for the wave to come. You just you know, move a little bit. When the wave goes back, you wait for the next wave, because you know it's got great whites and all that, all kind of big fishes in there. You know, whales, dolphins. You know, so now elephant. You got tourists going there, you know, taking photos of African elephant. you know, something funny. Everybody like, oh, Africa, hey, you got animals walking around. You know, everybody making fun of Africa. So people have been so much ungrateful to this land. So let's put this out, right? If it's not for Africa, how would you have, you know, a cheetah, an African lion in your zoo? How would you have a giraffe? There's no place else on earth beside Africa where you have a giraffe and a zebra. So again, African animals are being kidnapped and sent to Europe and Asia, everywhere in the world, right? So we're still educating children. You know, we're educating humanity about wildlife. The zebra, you know, they kidnap African zebra, take them from the environment and bring them in some confined space called zoo, so kids can come, a visitor can come and visit. But when they turn around and make fun of Africa, oh no, Africa, they got animals, but it's beautiful. We got great species. We are educating humanity. So that's what it is. So if Africa say, okay, don't take our zebra no more, so you're gonna have your kid never gonna see zebra, never gonna see cheetah, never gonna see giraffe, nothing like that. So say thank you to the land that actually God gave everything to. Even if Africa is still poor, that's have to do with politics, and that's a different story. But in reality, no one can say God didn't bless the land because Africa is still educating folks. We got everything there. Rhinos. It's only Africa can find rhinos. Where else can you find that? So how will you educate your kid in the zoo if you take Africa out of the picture? So you have to respect Africa. That's the land of our ancestors. So that's where everything is. You want to see giraffe? Go ahead. You don't have to go to the zoo. You can go to the safari and see them in group. That's the life. So Africa is educating folks. We're educating their children, and they turn around, oh, it's a wildlife, wild animal. But again, this is a wild animal. You guys go and take a photo with our wild animal. All right? It's beautiful. Now, some people say Africa, oh, you guys, do we have a house in Africa? Do we have a road? You know, people always asking questions. Do we have a road in Africa? I said, yeah. We got paved road too, right? You got beautiful roads, highways. But again, Africa have a lot of challenges because it's big and it's a lot more development to be done. And then we have bad leaders. In majority, we got fellows that actually, they look like us, but steal from us all the time. So that's the problem of a continent. But we can't say that there's nothing there because everything that's there, that's where the world's using it to function. The cotton, the cocoa, the coffee, the oil, the diamond, the gold. Even now, the land for agriculture, the water, the sun, the weather. So, even the animals. Now, enjoy these little photos. Right? I just took three countries from West Africa, and then just some little slices to tell you Africa is also developed, right? You have village, you have town, and you have cities, right? So you got cities too, beautiful cities. That's where when your ambassador goes there or your president of America travel to Africa, yeah, they're still in beautiful homes, right? They eat well too. So enjoy this little slice. This is how Africa looks like. All right?
Right.
So you can have a choice. I want you guys to travel, right? Don't just look those TVs and think, oh no, everyone don't want you to go, right? So Africa is not all that bad like they think it is. If it was that bad, I just show you this guy in the village trying to get cocoa, so you can make money out of chocolate. All right? Listen to that.
Making me feel poor.
Oh, make you feel poor? No, I just want to make you feel rich.
That feels good.
No, exactly. That's how I want you to feel. I want you to feel that everything you see on those television are biased towards Africa. Right? That's how I want you to know. I want you to know that you can travel and that's your lane too. Right? And then the people in Africa look just like you. Right? Then your root is a link to the African root, whether you like it or not. It's not even your choice. If you want, you can say, oh, I don't care about Africa, but it doesn't matter. You're still an African by blood. The DNA you have is a link to the DNA of people from the other side. Now, it's up to you. When you grow up, you can claim Africa because that's your motherland. You know, and you actually can have a land in Africa easier than me, right? Easier than me because you can go say, okay, I want to be from this country, and you can corner the mayor or corner whatever elected official. They have to do something for you because that's what it is. And these days, people are checking their DNAs, find out where they're from, right? And we're actually putting a program together, you know, with our organization called DPAC, where we will actually put folks together, get their DNA, you know, and then connect them, you know, to the land we think they may be from. Actually, connect them to a village that we think they may be from. It's a big project, but we really want working on it to kind of like bring the diaspora and the Africa motherland together. So that's it. This is Africa. See, people go for study abroad, right? You know, so our people go there to study abroad. So that's Africa. So you can choose to stay in a city, sometimes even more expensive than here. The hotels are very expensive sometimes. Yes, sometimes $300 a night, even more. It depends on how much luxury you want. And you can go to the village where I encourage all of you, if you travel to Africa, most people want to go to luxury, you know, safari and the sea, the resort, which is good. But I urge you to go to the village because if you want to see how our ancestors used to be back in the day, the village is more, that's Africa, that's a tradition, like, you know, the culture is there. So you learn that as well, right? And then the development, like when I go, I don't stay too much in the capitals. I like to go to the village because I'm already here. It's the same thing, you know, noise, ambulance, you know. So, right?
People always ask, like, I'm from a country in the islands, and they're like, do you have cities in where you come from? I'm always looking at them like they're dumb because they keep asking me, oh, do you